In the spring of 1969, I was 22 years old and assigned to the 25th Infantry Division in Vietnam. At that time, we were based out of Cu Chi, and most of what we did was northwest of Saigon. That whole area was important because it sat between Saigon and a lot of Viet Cong base areas. They moved through there, staged out of there, and used the tunnel systems to stay hidden. Our job was to keep pressure on them and make it harder for them to operate freely. What that meant for us on the ground was going back to the same places again and again, running patrols through areas we already knew weren't really clear. By that point in the war, most of our operations were mechanized. We used tracks to move along roads and trails, then got off and went in on foot once we reached the area we were working. That was how most missions started, including the one that ended my tour. That morning, we rolled out before daylight and moved north of Cu Chi along a laterite road. Most of us rode on top of the vehicles because being inside wasn't safe if a track hit a mine. You stayed up there with your rifle, watching the road edges and the tree lines, knowing the danger usually wasn't something you could see coming. At some point, we moved off the road. We wouldn't be surprising anyone. The noise of the engines and busting brush carried for miles, probably. The Viet Cong usually didn't want to tangle with the tracks. The area we were working that day was light jungle and scrub with a lot of old bomb craters and tall grass. It was tunnel country, and the division had been dealing with tunnels in that area for years. My platoon had found 2 tunnels there the week before and destroyed the entrances. But that didn't mean much because there were always more tunnels than you could find. That area was loaded with booby traps. You were more likely to get hit by a tripwire than from enemy contact, so we always had to watch where we were walking. That was true on almost every operation we ran in that part of the country. Mid-morning, we took small arms fire from the tree line. They would harass us and then disappear. I think a guy got hit in the hand, but other than that, it was just annoying. We checked the area and continued the sweep, which was typical of how these operations went. Later on, one of the guys tripped a punji trap and caught it in the lower leg. He was more seriously hurt and needed a medevac. That was another normal part of the job, dealing with casualties caused by the ground rather than a firefight. After he was evacuated, we reorganized and kept moving. We were down 1 man, but the mission didn't change. That was something you learned quickly with the 25th. The operation always continued. Around noon, we moved into another stretch of scrub and trees where the ground was uneven from old bomb strikes and shelling. Those areas were hard to move through and easy to get hurt in, and they wore people down over time. I was walking second in the line just behind the point man, and in that moment, my life would change forever. I stepped on a mine, and it detonated immediately. I think it was small and pressure activated, but it did enough damage to put me down. I just remember a cloud of dust and a deep ringing in my ears. I remember feeling warm, and my hearing dropped out for a few moments, but I knew I'd been hit. Everything seems hazy after. But the medic got a tourniquet on quickly. It seems like time slows down, and you wonder if you are dying. They called a track forward for some firepower and to get me to a place where a chopper could land. When we reached a clearing, they set me down and marked the area, and the medevac came in low and fast. I was loaded quickly, and the helicopter lifted off and headed back toward Cu Chi. As we climbed out, I just remember seeing the tracks fade into the distance. I didn't know it then, but that was my last day in the Vietnam War. Looking back now, my time with the 25th wasn't defined by one mission or one moment. It was defined by the people I served with and the kind of war we were fighting there, where the danger was constant but rarely obvious. There are men I still remember clearly, along with small moments that never really fade. Some of those men made it home and some didn't, and that stays with you whether you talk about it or not. I never saw Doc again. I wish I could thank him for what he did that day. I don't remember his last name, so not even sure if he made it home. I hope he did. The war changed most of us who was there. You became more careful, more aware, and more realistic about how things worked. You learned how fast everything could change and how little control you really had over it. When we came home, most guys didn't talk about it much. The people who understood were the ones who had been there too, and for everyone else, it was just too hard to explain. They could never understand. Even now, years later, Vietnam never completely goes away. It's still there in the memories, the people, and the way you see the world afterward.
Everybody makes mistakes, 'cause no one can be perfect. It was just one kiss, but that don't justify it. I know what I did was wrong, but it's like I did it just to spite you, because all we ever do is fight. Oh, and I really think it's time we say goodbye. Baby, I'm too fed up with us. I can't take no more screaming, hurting each other's feelings. Baby, I'm just too tired to talk, and you don't wanna listen. It's better we leave it all behind. It hasn't always been like this. Remember when we were in love? You were always there for me, and we could talk for hours. I don't know what happened to us. Oh, 'cause we bring each other down right now, and I don't even know why. You know, I really think it's time we say goodbye. Baby, I'm too fed up with us. I can't take no more screaming, hurting each other's feelings. Baby, I'm just too tired to talk, and you don't wanna listen. It's better